it can take quite a bit of nurturing to get somebody to the point where they are ready to buy from you and where they trust that you can deliver the result that you are promising. Let me give you an example. On average, somebody who buys Launch Magic, one of my signature courses, they have usually been on my email list for about 183 or 184 days, right? They've been on my email list, getting my emails 3 times a week for 6 months before they buy. Welcome to Imperfect Action. I'm Steph Taylor. For years, I read all the books, downloaded all the freebies, and did all the courses. But it wasn't until I started taking imperfect action that my business had its first $1 million year. Imperfect action is about doing things before you're ready, prioritizing consistent action over perfect action, and moving forward, even when you're not sure you're doing it right. On this show, you can expect mindset advice, actionable marketing tips, and strategies to build a business that brings you more profit, more freedom, and even more joy. Are you on the list to get my daily Biz Boosters? Every day, I'll send you a bite-sized prompt designed to help you grow your business in a more intentional way. Sign up at stephtaylor.co/DBB or at the link in the show notes. Hey, welcome back to Imperfect Action. This is episode 690. Today, I'm talking about a very common dilemma that I know pops up time and time again when you're selling anything online, and that is when you have an offer and people are looking at it, they're potentially even expressing their interest in it, but they're not buying it. And today I'm going to share 5 of the common mistakes that can lead to this happening. Now, obviously, you might be making more than one of these mistakes, or you might be making just one. You don't have to be making every single one of these for it to stop your audience from buying from you. So, mistake number 1, you are reaching the wrong people. You are getting your offer in front of the wrong people. This is what happens when there's a bit of a mismatch between the people who are in your audience and the people who have the problem that your offer solves and who are willing to spend money to solve it. Now, this can happen maybe if they're not ready to solve the problem that your offer solves, in which case the journey that they're going on with your brand, that journey that your free content and maybe your email nurture series or your live events, anything that you are getting in front of them, that journey is not currently taking them to the point where they are ready to solve this problem, in which case, okay, now I need to change my content up to move them to the point where they are ready to solve this problem. The magician's gap is what I call this journey that you are taking them on, and the gap that needs to be bridged before they'll be ready to solve that problem. Or on the other hand, maybe they're not willing to pay money to solve it yet. Maybe they don't even know that they have a problem yet. So in any of these cases, you need to be using your free content to bring them to the point where they are ready to spend money to solve that problem. Or you need to be finding people who are there already, which in a lot of cases, this is actually much harder. Now, it might also be that your audience is just straight up the wrong people for your offer. And this can happen if you have a piece of content that goes viral. For example, Jenna Kutcher, who has the Gold Digger podcast, which I love listening to, a few years ago, she had a viral article that had the headline of "Curvy Woman opens up about having Mr. Six-Pack as her husband." Now, she runs a business with online courses on Pinterest and Instagram marketing, right? She's a photographer. So I'm guessing that viral article probably didn't attract the right people into her business. It would have got her a lot of followers and a lot of attention, but those people may not have bought because they weren't the right people for her offers. So it's growing an audience and getting in front of people, it's more of a case of getting in front of fewer of the right people than it is about getting in front of as many people as possible. Okay, mistake number 2, your expectations are too high. Now, maybe your audience is buying, but not enough people are buying to reach your goals. And this could be because you just don't have enough people in your audience yet. You're not getting in front of enough people yet, in which case then the solution becomes to intentionally get in front of more people to grow your audience. And when I talk about intentionally getting in front of more people, it doesn't mean the spray and pray approach, right? It doesn't mean posting on Instagram and hoping that one day you'll go viral or the algorithm will show something to your audience. It means identifying where you can find those right people for this offer, your ideal clients for this offer, and then getting visible to them. It might mean teaching to people's audiences, teaching to their courses, doing interviews on other people's podcasts, speaking at events. These things feel a lot scarier than just showing up on Instagram with the same content day in, day out, because it involves doing things that might be a little bit outside of our comfort zones. But that is also how you intentionally reach more people. And then once you know that your offer converts, it starts to feel a little bit less risky investing this time and energy into getting visible and building your audience, because you know, okay, well, yes, this might feel really uncomfortable. Yes, this might take up my time, but I know that these people will eventually convert. Okay. And I do want to add also that the scary things, speaking on a stage, like, yes, it was terrifying the very first time I did it. Yes, I still get nervous when I do it, but it becomes a lot easier the more that you do it. And it becomes just a part of running your business and growing your business. Mistake number 3, you're not building enough trust with your audience before asking them to buy from you. It can take quite a bit of nurturing to get somebody to the point where they are ready to buy from you and where they trust that you can deliver the result that you are promising. Let me give you an example. On average, somebody who buys Launch Magic, one of my signature courses, they have usually been on my email list for about 183 or 184 days, right? They've been on my email list, getting my emails 3 times a week for 6 months before they buy. Now, this is not like they're just signing up for my email list and sitting there. I'm emailing them 3 times a week. I'm putting out 3 podcast episodes a week. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I'm sharing content there almost daily to nurture my audience as well, because I know that consistency is such a huge factor in building trust. Consistency, expertise. If they can trust that I know what I'm talking about, they're also more likely to buy from me, right? Now, this is where sharing free content consistently can help to build this trust. And a lot of this is patience. You've got to be patient and do this consistently over time, even when you feel like you're not seeing the results from it. But patience is one part of it, and then taking action to be consistent is the other part of it. Mistake number 4, you haven't given them a reason to buy from you right now. Human beings, we're procrastinators. I've talked about this a lot on this show. If something is unfamiliar or requires us to do something that is uncomfortable, like spending money or making some kind of change, even if it's a positive change, even if we know that starting to go to the gym is going to be the right habit for us to make, we're probably still going to put it off until Monday because it's uncomfortable. And we will put it off until the pain of not taking action is worse than the pain of taking action. I actually used the example of going to the dentist recently. We all know going to the dentist is something we should do regularly, once or twice a year, but we will often put it off until we have a toothache. Because even though we know it's good, it's uncomfortable. So when there's no reason for somebody to buy from you today instead of next week, you might find that they will end up sitting on the fence for a little while, not making any decision at all. So how can you then incentivize somebody to make a decision? Deadlines are really useful, but of course they don't work in every single situation. So how can you show somebody why they should buy from you right now instead of putting it off till next week or next month? And then mistake number 5, you haven't addressed all the questions and hesitations that are stopping them from buying. When somebody is considering buying your offer, what they really want to know is, will this work for somebody like me in my particular situation? So every time we launch Magic, and I'm using this as an example because we just closed doors, but every time we launch Magic, we have the same hesitations that come up over and over again. One's like, will this work if I have a really tiny audience? Or will this work if I'm brand new to business? Or will this work if I'm also working full time? How much time do I need to dedicate to this? And over time, you'll start to be able to preempt a lot of these questions because you'll have your audience reaching out and asking them, and then you'll be able to address them on your sales page or elsewhere in your sales content. But it's also so important to open up channels for somebody to ask these questions because there will always be new ones that come up, right? Even though this was our 7th launch of Launch Magic, we still had some new ones that came up this launch that I've never heard before. So if somebody knows that they can reach out to you via email or via Instagram or wherever they can reach out to you and ask those questions, then they are much more likely to ask the questions and they're going to get an answer to them, which is going to make them feel confident that they are making the right decision. Okay, so there you have it. 5 mistakes that are stopping your audience from buying. Number 1, you're reaching the wrong people. Number 2, your expectations are too high. Number 3, you're not building enough trust with your audience. Number 4, you haven't given them a reason to buy right now. And number 5, you haven't addressed all of the questions and hesitations that are stopping them from buying. If you have learned anything from this show, please take 30 seconds to leave a quick rating and a review. It means a lot to me. I read every single review, and it just reminds me that there are other real humans listening to this episode outside of just me and my team who put a lot of time into producing every single one of them. So that is my one little ask for you. Thank you so much for listening. Catch you next time.